and welcome back. I'm really excited for you guys to see today's video because we are going to be talking about my top 10 affordable eyeshadow palettes. I have done a favorite eyeshadow palettes video in the past, but I wanted to focus this one just on affordable palettes. So affordable eyeshadow palettes, all of them are going to be under $25. I have 10 to show you guys. Some of them are even under the $10 mark, so definitely some really great gems in here that I'm about to show you guys. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and begin. I was really excited to kind of show you guys my favorite palettes in my collection. So these are the ones that I own, that I reach for, that are more affordable. Not all of them are drugstore, but for the most part you can purchase these at drugstores. But I'm going to show you guys each one of my favorite palettes. So I'm going to start out with this one from Profusion. Now I've talked about Profusion quite a bit here on my channel, but I think they are a really awesome affordable brand, and they have their eyeshadow palettes that are really nice. One of my favorites is the Sienna palette, and this is the one that I'm going to recommend to you guys. If you are a lover of warm, neutral tones, and this is definitely going to be your vibes. It is a warm tone palette. It honestly has a lot of the same colors as like the Modern Renaissance palette, like this one right here, and just a lot of those same kind of tones. You have the golds in here, and it's just such a nice palette. It's very pigmented. The shimmers in here are also really nice. So it has 21 different shades. You also get a brush in this palette, and I actually do really like the brush. So it has a blending brush on one side, and then you get a shader brush on the other side, and I do use the brush as well. So definitely a great palette. I definitely recommend this one from Profusion. It is, like I said, $9 or $9.99 or something, and you can purchase it at Target. I also see these go on sale a lot at Target. I always see them like 50% off and stuff, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to have all of the palettes I'm mentioning linked down below in case you guys are curious about any of them. So up next, I want to talk about the Wet n Wild palettes. Now, this palette in particular is not available anymore. This one was a limited edition one, but I know that they have their larger palettes that are very similar to this that are like $5. I think they're $4.99. They're called their Color Icon, and I used to have one in my collection. Honestly, I don't know what happened to it, but they are kind of the same formula as this one here, and this one was called their limited edition Fit for a Queen palette. But I wish that Wet n Wild would come out with more palettes because I love the formula of their eyeshadows. So what I love most are their mattes. The shimmers I do like, although they're not my favorites. I feel like you can make them perform if you wet your brush, but they're just not like as foiled as a lot of other palettes I'm going to show you guys. But their mattes are so good. Their mattes are so good for such an affordable price. Those Color Icon palettes, I believe, have, I think, 12 different shades in them, and they're $4.99. Like, you can't beat that price. I enjoy their mattes so much. I actually reach into this one quite a bit for this transition shade right here because it works really well. Also, I like this red shade here. So if you have a chance to get this little mini palette, I definitely would recommend these, but I don't know if these ones are available anymore. But I know they are always coming out with new collections as well, and sometimes they do offer like these little mini palettes in there, or those Color Icon palettes. I definitely recommend those. I can't find mine to save my life, but it's really good. So this one from Wet n Wild is a must. And then up next, I want to talk about these ones from Rimmel London, and these ones are super affordable. Again, really nice palettes. You can find Rimmel London at a lot of different drugstores, and these palettes range from like the $5 mark. I think this one here is $5 when I saw it at Target, and then this one I think went up to like $8, but definitely under $10, and they kind of range depending on which palette you pick. But my favorite is the Violet edition. I think this one is so pretty. So here's what that palette looks like. You just have a bunch of purples in here, some blues. I really love this teal color right here. This one also comes with the brush, and I don't mind the brush in this one either. I like the little blendy brush here. This one is just like the sponge applicator, which isn't my favorite, but this brush right here is nice. And these are just really great. And the shimmers in here I think are really nice too, which you do have to wet them a little bit. They're a little bit chalky, like if you don't wet your brush, but once you wet your brush, even if you used water, it makes them so much more foiled. The mattes in here blend out really nicely, and they have really nice color payoff as well. Here's another one of those palettes. This one is the Color Edition, and this one has just like a lot of fun pops of colors. I know they also have a more neutral palette. They have like a more rosier palette. There is a ton of different versions of these, and like I I said, they range from like $5 to $9, so really, really cheap with these palettes. And I think that they're one of my favorites, if not my favorite, like drugstore palettes. And if I were to recommend like a very affordable under $10 palette, this one would probably be the one that I would recommend to you guys. So up next, I want to talk about the Jacqueline Hill and Morphe palette. This one retails for $15, and you can purchase this one at Ulta. It's actually the palette I have on my eyes today. This is the Armed and Gorgeous palette. I do really enjoy a lot of these. I have all 4 of them, and I do use them quite often, but my most used one is the Armed and Gorgeous, which is this one right here. I love this palette. I feel like it's so unique to my collection. You have your more warm tones in here, but you have that green shade, which is so pretty on the lid. This shade right here, Coin, I cannot help but go into that every single time. It's the shimmer I have on today. It's so beautiful, so foiled. Also, VIP is one of my favorites for my inner corner. I use that a lot, even if I'm just like using another palette, I'll come into that one just to put in my inner corner. It does have a mirror on here, and like I said, it's $15. I feel like it's really nice for the shades that you do get in here. You get 10 different shades. The only con I have is these 2 shades right here are a little bit similar when you put them on your eyes. They're a little bit different, but not by much. But I think that they have a slight difference in them. A lot of times I just mix them together. But I think that you can create a lot of different looks with this. I think it's a really great palette. I think the formula performs really nicely. I know there's so many mixed reviews on these, but I don't know. There's something about this palette that I just love. And if you have a chance to check it out, you want to pick it up, maybe you want to use it with a coupon too. I know you can use the $3.50 off $15 purchase to get this one. So I would recommend it for sure. And then up next, another palette you can purchase at Ulta Beauty is the Essence Spice Up Your Life palette. This one is so good. It's only $9.99, so $10, and you get a bunch of different shades in here, and the shimmers in this one are really nice. The mattes in this one are really nice. They're super pigmented. I wasn't really going to swatch much, but I will show you guys one of these shimmers just so you can see how beautiful they are in this palette. I know when they released these, they released a few other ones, but this one is my favorite out of the, I think there was 3 that they released. I just think this one has so many different tones in here. It's more of like a neutral palette, but you also have like a pink in here. You have some reds, you have the gold. I just think it's a really great versatile palette. And this is one of my favorite like drugstore options because Essence is a more affordable brand. Obviously, all of these palettes are going to be affordable, but $9 for that many shades I think is great. The packaging on this is really nice as well. Okay, now we're going to move into the palettes that are a little bit higher end as far as price wise. They're still going to be affordable, but these are all going to be kind of like $20 and above. So this one first up is from Coastal Scents, and this is their Revealed Smoky palette. Coastal Scents, they have some amazing eyeshadows, and I feel like they get overlooked a lot, but here is the inside of this palette. It kind of reminds me of like the Urban Decay like Naked palette or the Naked Smoky palette. Besides, you kind of get 2 palettes in one. You have this whole palette right here and then this whole side right here, so it's kind of like 2 naked palettes in one. But you have your violets up here, you have a black. Obviously you can make like a dramatic smoky eye with this one, but then you have some more neutral shades down here. You have a couple cooler shades as well. I think that this is a really great palette, not only for creating a smoky eye looks, like dramatic eye looks, but also creating like some more neutral looks with playing with these down here. I think it's really great. It is $20, so it's a little bit more pricey, but like I said, you do get a lot of different shades in here, and they perform really great on the eyes. And then the next one, this is from Juvis Place. This is the Dolce palette. This one is so fun. This is one of the more colorful palettes that I am going to show you guys. A lot of these are going to be a little bit more wearable, a little bit more neutral, just because I know that when it comes to everyday like drugstore looks, that's kind of what everyone loves. But this palette right here is just so fun. And Juvis Place palettes in general, I feel like their formula is really nice. This is my second Juvis Place palette. I do have another one that is like a mini palette, but the shades in here perform so nicely. They are literally so pigmented, I can't even describe to you. Like this one right here is foiled beyond foiled. It's absolutely beautiful. I wear it all over the lid, and every single time I wear this, I get so many compliments. I feel like they really do it with their shimmer shades. I think that they're probably most known for those, but their mattes also perform really nicely as well. And I think this palette is fun. When I first got this, I was kind of like, what would I create with this palette? But every time I've created a look with this, I feel like my mind just kind of starts going, and I love every single look I've made with this one. It is $20, and you can find Juvia's Place at Ulta, and I know they have a ton of different like more neutral palettes, some really fun palettes, so definitely check out Juvia's Place if you haven't already. And then up next, I'm going to talk about this one from Carity. So this one is actually $25, so it's going to be the highest price one that I'm going to show you guys, but I love this palette so much. This is the Rosé All Day palette, and this would be perfect for Valentine's Day. This is just a beautiful pink toned, rosy palette. I love this one. I've created so many different looks with this guy. It also has a mirror on it, which I like. A lot of affordable palettes, sometimes I feel like kind of skip out on the mirror part, so I do like to mention that it does have a mirror. So again, the mattes in this palette are very blendable. They work nicely together. They complement each other nicely. And then the shimmers are also very pigmented in this palette as well. I love that it has this bright pink right here. I think that is such a fun, just like pop in this palette. And also you have like these more fuchsia ones right here. But this one is so nice just on like the outer V. It's so fun and pretty. And then you can also kind of create more neutral looks with these ones down here, more kind of everyday looks. But I think that this one is really, really nice. I haven't heard too many people talk about this palette, but I think it's one of my favorites for sure. And then up next, another one of my favorites. This is like a well-used palette in my collection. This is the Perception palette. This is in collaboration with Makeup Shayla, and this is from Colourpop. And this one is, like you can see, very well loved in my collection. It is $23, and you can find it on Colourpop's website. I don't think it's available at Ulta yet. I don't know. I see Colourpop like slowly putting more items into Ulta, so I'm not sure if it will come into there. But I love this palette. I have created so many different looks with this. You have some fun like duochrome shades up in here. This one here is really fun. You have a blue, you have these more orangey tones, you have these earthier tones right here, and you have a fun green in here. Whenever I go into this palette, I always feel so inspired. Like when looking at this palette, I want to do something fun. I want to do something different. Like I want to play with the blue or the purple. And I feel like the only thing I wish that this palette had was just a few more mattes. It does have a lot of shimmers in here. You really only have like these few mattes right here. I don't know, like a lighter pink matte or something like that, because I do feel like I'm limited when it comes to the mattes in this palette. But with the shimmers, I can create a more fun look with using the shimmers just with those mattes. I just wish it had a few more mattes in here and not so many shimmers, but I do really, really love this one. The mirror on mine is actually broke, but it does have a nice long mirror as well. And then the last palette I'm going to share with you guys, you've heard me talk about this palette a bunch before. This is from BH Cosmetics, and this is the Desert Oasis palette. I love this one. It's $24 on Ulta's website, or I think it's like only $19 if you go on the BH Cosmetics website. But this is a really great palette. This palette's nice because you have your highlights right here on this side, you have your eyeshadows here, and then you can also use these two shades as bronzers. You can also use them like in your creases eyeshadows. I've used the highlights over here all over the lid as well. This blue in here is so gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I love this down blue too. And then you have like these more cooler tone shades right here, a couple warmer shades over on this side. I think that the BH Cosmetics formula of their shimmers is unlike any other shimmer. It's just so foiled, beautiful, just like kind of looks like a wet, let me show you guys a swatch of the blue. It just looks like a very wet, I don't even know how to explain it, just like glittery. Like, do you see how pigmented that is? Lasts on the lid too. Like, you don't just put this on and then it kind of deteriorates. You know, sometimes that can happen. It will last like that all day. It's very pigmented, very nice. You also do have a mirror on this palette. This is one of my favorites. I reach into this one probably the most out of any of these palettes I've showed you guys. I do really, really love this one. But I think that is going to do it for all of my favorite affordable palettes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I'm going to have all of the palettes, like I said, linked down below. Let me know down in the comment section one of your favorite affordable palettes. If there is one that you guys love that you haven't seen me use before, let me know. I am always looking for new favorite drugstore items and new palettes that are more affordable to share with you guys. So make sure to leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Let me know what other videos you guys would like to see from me down in the comment section as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.